Alrighty, so it is halftime in the game between Minnesota versus the Chicago Fire, which I won't mention exactly what the score is because, I'll talk about a little bit later after the game is over. Today we are going to do the preview and pretty much do part 2 of the preview for match week number 8 as we look at the 4 games that's going to be happening on Sunday, and 3 of them is going to be on national television, with only 1 of them is going to be on local channel. But we start off with the first of 3 national television game, which is Inter Miami taking on Atlanta, and this is also the first of 2 that is going to be on ESPN. And in fact, ESPN actually have the doubleheader to start the Sunday action before FS1 pick up one of the last game between FC Cincinnati versus LAFC. Now, in terms of this matchup, at least for the last 2 games, both of these teams are kind of heading in the opposite direction. For Inter Miami, ever since they finally snapped out of their winless run, they have started to look like a respectable MLS team, getting wins against New England and getting wins against Seattle, which I'm pretty sure if you told that to Miami fans a couple of weeks ago, they would think that I'm absolutely insane. The fact that they would get their first 2 wins against those opponents. Whereas for Atlanta United, they have really looked like the Atlanta United of the 2020 season. And I'm pretty sure if you want to tell any Atlanta fans about that 2020 season, they would not want to hear it, because that was a nightmare season for them, where this team simply cannot score. Or especially cannot score when they don't have Joseph Martinez in the starting 11. And likewise, they have now gone almost 200 minutes since their last goal, and the record is now 3-2-2. Now, this game, of course, starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 1:08 p.m. local time. As I said, this game is going to be on ESPN. All-time meeting between both of these teams. Both of these teams have 2 draw apiece, and 2 wins apiece and 3 draw apiece. And in terms of the top goal scored so far for Inter Miami, it's been the revelation of Leo Campana. He has really play well, at least in these last couple of games, and even scored that hat trick against New England with 4 goals. Then you got Gonzalo Higuain, who I'm not quite sure whether or not if he is gonna come back into this game, and if he is, there's that discussion, the fact that with the way that Miami has played much better under Gonzalo Higuain, do we think that maybe Gonzalo Higuain is the biggest issue for this team? But so far he has 2 goals to his name, and then last week, of course, Robin Robinson scored the winning goal against the Seattle Sounders to win 1-0, and that's kind of the only goal scored so far for Inter Miami this season. They're a team that really struggled to score goals, but at least in these last 2 games, they finally score as much goals as they have since the winless run that they had, and they have now improved the record to 2-1-4. Whereas for Atlanta United, Joseph Martinez still leads the team with 2 goals, followed by Thiago Almada, Luis Araujo, and Brooks Lennon, and a bunch of players on this Atlanta team with 1 goal apiece. And yeah, this is a game that I think, with the way that Miami have started to finally found some form, they're definitely going to be the favorites, which, I can't believe the fact that I have get to say that they are the favorites coming into the game, because a couple of weeks ago, this team looks like it was doom and gloom, whereas for Atlanta, you got to say that this is a game that they have to at least get something out of, or even maybe get a win out of this one, because they are definitely heading the wrong direction. And as I mentioned, this is, at least in these last 2 games, this have looked like the Atlanta team from the 2020 season. And yeah, no Atlanta fans want to remember that disastrous 2020 season when they finished 11th in the East. But moving on, in terms of the next match, we got Orlando City versus the New York Red Bulls. So we just hit a little bit north of Florida into Central Florida for the next match. And that one, of course, is also going to be on ESPN. Though this is going to be a matchup between 2 teams that is in the top 3 spot in the Eastern Conference. Although, it's kind of interesting the fact that, for Orlando this season, they kind of, for some people think that they haven't really got off to a good start because they have some iffy resort. They're actually in second in the Eastern Conference, whereas for the Red Bulls, this season, it seems like they love to play on the road. And the good news is they get to play on the road again, and that all 3 wins so far they have has been on the road. In fact, I don't think the Red Bulls have lost on the road yet. That is incredible, the fact that they have not lost on the road. It's just that their home form is a big problem with the way that they have only picked up 2 points so far at home. But like I said, this is a road game, so you would think that this may favor them because they tend to play much better on the road compared to at home. But yeah, this game will start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 3:38 p.m. local time. All-time meeting, it's actually Orlando with a, or actually, no, I'm sorry, that's actually an 8 that I see here. It looks like a 3 there, but I'm just gonna fix this because again, it looks like a 3, but it's actually the Red Bulls with an 8-2-5 record over Orlando City in terms of the all-time meeting. And in terms of the top goal scored so far for the Red Bulls, it's still Lewis Morgan, who, he of course scored that hat-trick all the way back from week, I believe, number 2 against Toronto FC. Still leads the team with 3 goals, followed by Tom Barlow with 2 goals, Omer Fernandez with 2 goals, and Patrick Klimala with 1 goal. For Orlando, you got Junior Urso, Aaron Kara, Pato, and Moutinho, as your top 4 goal scorer. The top 3 goal scorer for Orlando all has 2 goals, and then Moutinho with I think he alongside with a couple of Orlando City players has 1 goal so far for this team. And yeah, it should be a very interesting match show with the way that, again, anytime when you have the top two team or the top 3 team face off against each other in the beginning of the season, it's definitely something to watch. Though I will also say that this is going to be a game that if you expect to see goals, maybe this is not the game for you, because this is a game between 2 teams that is very organized in the defensive end. They also just do enough on the attack to score the goals. So something tells me this could be a low scoring game, and this could be maybe a 1-0 or 2-1 victory, or maybe like a 1-1 draw if both of these teams do not get both of these teams don't get a win in this, which has only happened twice in the 14 meeting or the 15 meetings so far they have faced against each other. But now moving on, in terms of the next match is FC Cincinnati versus LAFC. So this is the last game out of the 3 games that is going to be on national television, as this one will be at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 5:28 p.m. local time. FC Cincinnati, of course, coming into this game with a 2-1-4 record, while for LAFC, one of the best record in the league, and they actually technically have the best record in the league and the best points per game ratio with a 5-1-1 record, because earlier the Union wasn't able to pick up a victory. But in terms of the all-time meeting, there's only been one other meeting between both of these teams. LAFC, of course, won that. And the top goal scored for Cincinnati this season, I mean, Brandon Vasquez has pretty much been the offense for FC Cincinnati in this one. 5 goals so far this year, followed by Lucho Acosta and Roland Matarrita with 1 goal. For LAFC, Carlos Vela currently has 4 goals for the team, followed by Chicho Arango with 2 goals, Ryan Hollinshead with 2 goals, and Kavadu Mahala Opoku with 2 goals for LAFC. So there's no doubt that LAFC is going to be heavy favorites in this one, because, knowing FC Cincinnati, where, for FC Cincinnati, this has been kind of a weird season for them. I mean, it's either they have looked like a team that looked respectable, or they have at times looked like a team that is kind of like last season, where they could give up tons of goals. But there's also games where they look very shut down on the defensive end, but they can't score or in front of goal. So yeah, it's almost like you don't know what version of FC Cincinnati you're going to get, which, I mean, if you're an FC Cincinnati fan, I guess that maybe is an improvement, because I know last year what's been something that FC Cincinnati knows about their team is that they basically lose every week. But now you get a team that basically play in a version where you don't know what they're going to get, and sometimes they could look good, sometimes they can look absolutely terrible. And I guess maybe that's kind of the next step of trying to improve, to get from a team that is basically consistently bad to be a team that maybe is kind of inconsistently bad and start to look a little bit respectable, because hey, at least they're not in the wooden spoon race right now. I mean, they at least have 2 wins this season, and they're far away from the wooden spoon race that is going on early into the season. But like I said, I think LAFC is probably going to win this, because they have much more quality. But you never know. This is a home game for FC Cincinnati, and I know they haven't really done well at home ever since they opened TKL Stadium, but we'll see if they can maybe pull off an upset in this one. And then finally, the last game of the board, and really the last game of match week number 8. Actually, no, this is technically the last game, because this one actually will kick off a little bit sooner than the actual kickoff of this game. But this one, of course, is NYCFC versus Toronto FC, and I'm kind of surprised this one wasn't also on national television because it's between two really good team, and when NYCFC does face against Toronto FC, you know that there's going to be a good game that is going to be played. But also, I think the reason why this game is not on national television is because NYCFC is playing a home game in this one, and they're actually not playing at Yankee Stadium in this one. They're actually going to be playing at Citi Field, and that I think this is the first of 4 or 5 home games that NYCFC is going to be playing at Citi Field. And you know, while Citi Field is definitely a little bit better in terms of the camera work compared to what we see at Yankee Stadium, it's still not great. And also, they're still playing at a baseball stadium, but only this time they're playing at the Mets Stadium instead of the Yankee Stadium. But coming into this game, NYCFC have a 2-1-3 record, while Toronto has a 3-2-2 record. This game, of course, starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 5:08 p.m. local time. All-time meeting, Toronto has a slight edge with an 8-7-6 record over NYCFC. And the top goal scorer for this season for NYCFC, and really in just one game, Tati Castellanos has got himself back in the Golden Boot race. I mean, that 4-goal performance he had in the last game against RSL has now easily made him the top goal scorer of this team, followed by Thiago Andrade with 3 goals, and then you got Aber and Talis Magno with 1 goal for NYCFC. For Toronto FC, another guy that has really quietly become a threat in the Golden Boot race, and I've always say that Jesus Jimenez is probably the most underrated, the number 9 in this league, because it just feels like he pretty much score almost every single week, and he's still not getting the credit that maybe some of these players that is fighting for the Golden Boot early in the season get so far. But besides that, you got Jonathan Osorio with 2 goals, Alejandro Pozuelo with 2 goals, and Nelson with 1 goal for Toronto FC. And yeah, I expect this should be a good game, and that, you know, anytime when both of these team play, you know that there's going to be goals. That's going to happen in this one, and we'll see how this one, of course, would play. And not to mention, this is also kind of a rematch of a playoff game that they had back in 2019, which, by the way, that playoff game in the Eastern Conference first round when NYCFC meet against Toronto FC was also played at Citi Field. So yeah, it's not only the fact that it is kind of a rematch, but it's actually going to be playing at the same stadium, even though, you know, as I said, for NYCFC, I mean, you can pretty much put all the jokes about how they just don't have an actual home, and that they pretty much are just the team that basically wander around every single where, not in the New York area, but pretty much around the country, with the recent time where they not only had to play another game in Hartford, but also had to play a home CCL game at Bank of California Stadium. But at least if there's one thing that I will say about NYCFC is that, you know, I guess as long as they play at a baseball stadium, they know that they have the advantage, because again, you know, it seems like when they don't play at Yankee Stadium or play at a baseball stadium, they don't look like a team that is as good as we've seen before. I mean, besides the one time when they do play at Bank of California Stadium, the time that they play at Red Bull Arena, they just have not look comfortable. So again, as long as they play at a baseball stadium, they will be definitely happy, and they will definitely look comfortable. But we'll see if they can get a victory against a resurgent TFC team that has really been in good form in these last couple of games. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for the preview for all 4 of these games. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these games, and as always, let me know in the comments your prediction for all 4 of these games. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.